All right, I think we are about ready to kick off. So appreciate everyone who signed in already. I'm sure we'll get a few more. So for those of you who may not be familiar, the NPDA exists to support franchise and independent powersports dealers through education, advocacy, programs, and practical resources, all focused on helping dealers build a stronger, more professional, and profitable industry. The partner webinar series gives dealers direct access to the companies, tools, and people helping shape the powersports retail landscape. Throughout the spring and summer, we'll feature NPDA partners on an almost weekly basis with one goal in mind, keeping dealers informed, connected, and exposed to ideas they can actually put to work. Today's webinar focuses on F&I, dealer financing, and the role flexible payment solutions can help in play in helping dealers sell more effectively while improving the customer experience. In a market where affordability, transparency, and speed all matter, dealers need practical financing tools that help customers say yes without creating unnecessary friction in the sales process. We're joined today by Brenda Cline-Kereakes. Hopefully I said that correct because I didn't practice it at all. Chief Operating Officer at Line 5. Brenda has broad knowledge in the areas of F&I and dealer financing with hands-on experience across automotive, RV, powersports, and marine. She brings a practical dealer-focused perspective on presenting and selling F&I products, leveraging flexible financing solutions, strengthening customer relationships, and building strategies that drive profitability. And along with Brenda, we'll also have Jamie from Line 5 assisting. Brenda is going to walk us through where dealers may be leaving opportunities on the table, how flexible financing can support both sales and finance performance, and what dealers can do immediately to improve results without overcomplicating the process. Please drop your questions or comments in the Q&A, and we'll work them in as we go or save them for the end. The webinar is being recorded, and the recording and presentation will be made available afterwards. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Klein.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Is that
Now you got
better?
it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, happy to say we recently sponsored a motocross team, and they won. You see our little line 5 there on the helmet. We have that actual helmet in our office. Just want to talk about the opportunities in power sports that it's kind of new to power sports, I feel, but it's something that is really important. I'm going to just kind of slide through the presentation. I don't know what we want to see here. Let's see. No, we didn't do it. Start from the beginning and then let's slideshow.
You should be able to hit your space bar.
There we go. So I'm kind of a you might call a car chick and power sports. I had 2 older brothers, and our dad taught us to ride motocross bikes. And in my early 20s, I ran a motocross track, promoted the riders, and gave away trophies and everything. I went on to college. When I got out of college, it was to teach, and I was with the idea of teaching and training. And the only place I could find a job is from a car dealer that I had bought a car from. I just so happened to call him. I don't know if you remember me. He remembered me. He gave me a job. There were no females in the car business at that point, unless you were secretarial or up in accounting. So I sat in a little, probably 8 foot by 8 foot office and input deals. And I was the wing woman for the salesmen on the floor because I loved the trucks so much. It was the Dodge Ram when they first changed over. I went out of that and I sold real estate because, gosh, those hours in the dealership every Saturday, they were crazy, I thought, as a young person. So I decided to sell real estate crazily as a young person, and realized that was a 7-day, 24/7 job. From the real estate, I started kind of moving across the country, and I went to work for Aon Home Warranty. And a home warranty is a service contract. What you have to offer in your dealership is a service contract, be through the Harley Davidson or Protective or any of the other Riders Vantage. They all have those service contracts. And a service contract is a service contract. It's a mechanical failure breakdown, as you all know. Then a little bit later, I got hooked on riding motorcycles and I bought a few. And then from there, I was still well, I went from A on home warranty into the payment plan business in 2012. And I've been there ever since. I recently, 3 years ago, came over to Line 5, and I work currently in the automotive RV and power sports and marine world. So on from that, I just want to help the dealers, our dealers here, to make more money. Today, we're going to discuss increasing PVR, improving penetration, overcoming price objections, and training consistency. And you might see a question there. What is your biggest challenge? Increasing PVR, improving penetration, overcoming price objection, or training consistency? We're just going to kind of run that poll for a few minutes. Next, we're going to, why this matters. We're going to discuss how to increase the PVR, how to improve penetration, how to overcome pricing objections, and how to improve your training consistency. We're going to do all of those things. And the opportunity gap, what are the biggest challenges? I already did that one, so let's go on to the next slide. For some reason, my screen is not moving. I think it's because of the questions there, Jamie.
I ended it.
Okay, biggest challenges.
You may just want to take your mouse and click on the presentation once on your screen to make that active, and then you should be able to use your mouse or down
Or space.
There we go.
Mhm.
Why this matters now: margin pressure on units, payment-focused customers, and F&I driving the profitability. We are seeing a shift. Dealers are relying more on F&I to maintain and grow profitability. The opportunity gap, customers see value, dealers present products, adoption is limited. There's a disconnect between the interest and the affordability. Now, the banks are are stopping how much they're going to loan to the consumers. There's cash buyers declining, and the F&I products are introduced too late. And this is where most opportunities are lost, not because customers don't want it, but because how it's been presented. So I want to talk to you about how to do that better.
And we have a poll going on that, just tries to see, is this something, where people have experienced this type of objection, or, try to help to guide the conversation. So we'll give people another 15 seconds or so to answer the question.
In customers' reality, the OEMs are offering shorter warranties. The repairs are getting more and more expensive, and the high usage of these vehicles. When the market, some people just ride their motorcycles to and from everywhere. They don't even have a car anymore these days. The products genuinely matter to the customer, and the challenge is helping them say yes. And the process is the problem and the solution. Inconsistent presentation, in power sports dealerships, they don't know, they're new to the F&I. Sometimes the sales guy is the same F&I guy. So it's them learning what the products are about, why the importance of the products, how they can, if they're backed up against the loan, they have options, and learning what those options can be and understanding how easy it is. The late stage conversations, they're ready to write their check or they're about to get the loan, and then the products are offered, meaning they have like a 2 minutes to think about it, understand it, and say yes or no. If you talk about it as you're going through the sales process, it gives them a little bit more opportunity. And there's no standardized approach from dealer to dealer. So that's where an association like this helps you understand. The NPDA has the conferences and all these webinars and are able to teach and train you how to do this. Top performing dealers focus heavily on the process and not the products. What higher performing dealers do differently: They introduce the products early. They use payment-based conversations, and they maintain consistency. Offer it to everyone every time. I think that gets misplaced. If you need an SOP, a little sticky on the desk, whatever works, but they just need to know about it. In our business, in my business, we had a consumer come through on live chat and saying, my son just bought vehicles and they weren't offered a warranty. Of course, it's a service contract if it's not offered by the OEM. And she says, can we buy service contracts for him? Of course, I don't sell them, but I was able to refer them to one of our partners. But she knew all about it, and she was really upset that her sons didn't. And that could be selective, right? So we don't want to get in trouble from a compliance part. We want to offer the same thing to everyone every time. These normalized protections as part of the purchase, not as an add-on. Sorry, my springtime here in Chicago, allergies are kicking up. Expanding access changes outcomes. More customers can say yes, increase penetration, and better experience. When you create more ways for customers to say yes, results will follow. Same customer, same product, different outcome based on the structure. We've seen identical scenarios produce different results depending on how the option is presented. How many of you have had this happen? Customer agrees products has value, but declines due to the cost or the deal structure. Maybe you can't fit it in the loan, or maybe that makes it too expensive. I'm going to show you a real life demonstration of our system and show you just how easy it is. This is a critical moment, but has an immense amount of opportunity every time, everyone. Same changes, big impact. Earlier conversation, customer or payment focused, consistent across the team. These are operational changes, not overhauls. Practical takeaways. Start F&I conversations early, lead with payment structure and value, standardize process, track results. And in our system that I'm going to show you, before they...
We'll do one more poll.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Just to kind of see what types of takeaways they feel that they could implement right away.
Are we there? Can you see it?
We can now, yes.
Okay, so this is our system. It's all web-based, so you don't need anything special. Just from your computer there in the office, we'll give you a login once you sign up with Line 5. Here, I'm going to just sign in, and you would sign in just the same. Okay. So I'm going to go up here. This is what our system kind of looks like, but I'm going to go over this real quick. I'm just going to hit a demo. And this is all fictitious, but this is all that needs to be done. Franziska Lebner. I'm going to put let's just put our address at work. This is a made up identification number. And we'll just put this as 2,500 miles. And we're going to click here to say this is where's our motorcycle? What we're going to do is we're going to put it as an ATV. And we're going to confirm that the consumer indicated on this form has been approved to use their personal information. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a soft pull on the consumer. And a soft pull is no different than all those credit card nonsense that you get in the mail every day. It doesn't touch or hurt your credit. And from that, I don't think I have anything less. We're going to look at 72 months. A gold package for the Line 5 demo VSC. So if it was Rider's Advantage, it would say Rider's Advantage. We're going to say that it's going to be $1,000. And we're going to exclude the tax. So here you see it's $1,000. We're going to go next. On this next, it's all sample. This make-believe consumer has a 650 credit score. We treat all dealerships as if they're a franchise dealership. So the first payment's going to be on 5/31/26, 30 days from today. And with the 650 at $1,000, we are going to recommend 52 months at 15.99% based on their credit score. So a payment of $26.88. Now you think, well, that's $26. Wow, 52 months, that's kind of a long time. So what if we want to just scale this down and we want to pay for this over 24 months? So for $50 a month, you're going to have coverage for 72 months. So the program fee is just 10%, so it's $100.39. We recommend the 52 months, and that's coming from our 13 or plus years of coverage and doing this. And this consumer with that credit score is the most likely to stay in this loan at 52 months. $1,003 monthly payment is $26.88. Now, to take you, the dealer, to reduce your risk a little bit, if they went down to 24 months, $49, the receivable's only out there for 2 years and it's $49. I can't imagine anyone's going to say no to that. But if they say, gosh, I would feel better if this was a $40 a month payment. We're going to put that, and we're going to say, we're going to change the loan term. So it would be 30 months. The payment or the program fee is still 10%. And that's going to give them over 30 months, $40. So if it's price driven, what do you feel comfortable paying on a monthly basis to cover this service, to have your ATV covered for 72 months? And then we're just going to submit that. And anything in black is what we recommended. Anything in orange is what's been changed. And then here we're just going to make sure, of course, for compliance purposes, they're only going to see those last 4 5s. And we want you to verify their birth date just to make sure there isn't a junior or senior out there. Email to receive their monthly statement from email is fine, or is free and fine. If they want a regular mail statement, which I can't imagine anyone wanting that, we are going to charge $3.95. And here we use Plaid. Plaid is a company that is an in-between. If we click here, it's going to send a text message to that consumer's phone right then, right there, and they can set up their payments themselves. So what that says is they know exactly what they bought, so they can never charge back and say, I don't know who these people are and I don't know why they're charging us. And it also helps with NSFs. So if the Plaid is going to go into their bank account and look to make sure that they have that $40, and if they don't, they're going to ping them with a message, hey, you have a payment due for $40. You need to put money in your bank, basically. And on that monthly, or if someone says, monthly, it's $40. If you paid every other week, it would be $20. If you paid weekly, it would be $10 a week. If they get paid weekly, they want to do that. On paying weekly, we're going to start collecting right away because we have to have those 4 payments by the end of the month. Bi-weekly, we're going to charge them in 2 weeks and then another one in 2 weeks. But on a weekly basis for $10, that's less than 2 Starbucks. You're going to have to give up 1.5 Starbucks a week.
What option do you tend to find that consumers go with?
Mostly do monthly. Or they do it along, and they can pick the date that they want it due to align with their payment, with their payroll. We're going to add this payment method manually because this is a live system, and it's going to warn you loans that are set up using a payment card have a higher cancellation risk. So again, we're trying to encourage Plaid. We're going to add it manually here because, like I said, but it's very easy. Checking account, bank fee. There is a $4.95 bank fee for a credit card because we find credit cards get declined a lot. here, and prepaid debit cards are not accepted. They're declined by the bank. So we give you warnings. We're going to provide later because, again, this is a demo. It's going to tell you automatic payment method must be received prior to the loan funding. And we're going to say, okay. And then I'm going to show you, hopefully we've been doing updates on the system. Oh, good. And here, again, this is a test, but right here above loan detail and print documents is going to be an electronic signature. And I'm going to click on this loan details because this deal is already in our system. It's that quick. It's a live deal. And you'll have access to all of these things. Another great thing that we do is we're going to send a verification of that cell phone to make sure it's a good cell phone. Something else even better is we're going to do a welcome call. We're going to talk to that consumer and say, I see you bought an ATV from Mark's company. Mark, what's your company name?
Woods.
Woods. And you bought a 72-month, and I know usually they're probably less length than that for Powersports. For 72 months, you're going to be covered with, protectives, protection plan, service contract, and you're going to start paying on this date. It's going to end on this date. And you bought it from Protective and you bought it from Woods. We're going to go through all that so they know exactly what they bought. And some think, well, gosh, they're going to cancel because you did that. That's not the case. They feel better about it, and it helps with cancellations because there's nothing worse than all of a sudden some company called Line 5 showing up on your bank statement. You're like, who the heck is this? I didn't do anything with Line 5. Now they'll remember the phone call. And here's all the details of the loan. The documents are here. The installment contract can be looked at any time, downloaded. And this is a true TILA form. I think because I'm sharing, it's a little bit slower, but it's going to give them all the information, their name, what they bought, and just like if they were buying the car or the motorcycle itself. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that one. And then I'm going to go back to ours just for another moment. Can you see it? Yeah, again?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, great. And then we'll take any questions.
So I got a short list of questions for you. So what is the cost of the dealership on this program, or is there any?
There is. It's 10%. So you'll notice that there was no money down required. You can take money down, like I want them to have a little skin in the game. We could take 5% down, 10% down. And if you do that on the installment contract, you would be taking that money down and keeping that as part of your profit.
So if a customer bought an ESC that retailed for $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
how so there's going to be 10%, so the dealer is going to be responsible for paying you $100 up front.
No, you're going to keep that as part of your profit. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that 900 remaining, and we're going to take our fee out of it, which is 10%
Okay.
of the amount financed, so $90, and we're going to send you back the 810, if I'm doing the math right in my head. And then you will then go and pay the provider.
Okay.
We pay you everything, you pay the provider, and consumer starts making payments to us.
What happens if a consumer doesn't keep up with their payments?
We have a full-time staff on board for collecting, and on top of specialized collectors, we will call, we will email, we will text, we will mail, and we will work for 60 days to get that consumer to be caught up, and then we'll work with them on, if they need to defer a payment, if they need to make a partial payment and catch up next month. We'll do all of utilize any tool we can to help keep them in the loan. Because honestly, that 10% fee is super low in the industry, but because we do charge that simple interest loan, we make our money on the back end, keeping them in the loan. So it's our best interest to keep them in the loan.
And if a consumer were to pay off the loan early, then they
no crime, no foul, no extra fees.
what F&I providers can you integrate with?
Well, we will do business with really everyone in the Powersports business at this point.
So Riders Advantage,
Riders,
McGraw, Aegis,
yep, Aegis. I know
and you're able
Jeff.
to
Yeah.
digitally integrate with them so that you've automatically got all their menu pricing and everything.
Yeah, so what we do is we get our products from Penn or F&I Express. So we put the codes in. So the demo I just went through, we would be pulling those rates from one of those companies or the other. And so that live deal, that went directly to Penn or F&I Express, which then also goes directly to the administrator. So everyone knows the deal, everyone has the paperwork immediately. And if that's the case and they sign up for Plaid, we are going to fund that contract the next day. We fund every day. And as soon as we have all of the paperwork that's necessary, meaning, that they're with Penn and F&I, we have all that's necessary. If they sign up with Plaid, or if they don't sign up with Plaid, if they need to provide it later, we're going to fund it once we get those documents.
Gotcha.
But in most
And
cases, we fund within 24 hours.
you fund through ACH.
Yes.
When do you think F&I should be introduced in the sales process?
I'd say as soon as they, one of their concerns obviously could be, well, if it breaks down, talk about it during the sales, in the beginning of the sales, or as you're doing it, it's like, you also want to consider the cost of this bike and the cost of upkeep on the bike. Of course, service contract isn't going to do maintenance unless you sell a maintenance plan. And if it is an insured and cancelable maintenance plan, we will finance that as well. And we'll finance tire and wheel, again, the same situation. So we can do very easily on what I showed you, they can do multiple products.
And when we had talked about this initially, you had said that consumers can finance anything that's cancelable. So if a dealer had an internal maintenance plan that was not cancelable, that would not be something that you could run through this program.
No, sir.
Do you have any, one of the things that we've been talking to dealers about recently is looking at, the terms that they are providing customers for ESCs. And I think a lot of times the finance person will just go for the longest available term. And, then the customer's trading in 3 years, they've still got 3 years left, and we're seeing some chargebacks. Do you have any thoughts on how a dealer can kind of identify how long they should really be offering these programs for?
Well, it's a conversation with the purchaser, so is this your first bike? Oh, no, it's my third. Oh, okay. Are you trading up, or do you just want a new model every 3 years? And getting to know that purchaser is the best way to do that. Do you plan on keeping this? Is this your lifelong dream and you're going to keep it forever? Or are you buying it, once you're done with it, it's going to go to your son? Because most service contracts are transferable.
Gotcha. So I guess kind of an interesting thought here. Typically dealers haven't done this before. So when, we do the loan, it's got the F&I products that are in there. We're paying the provider of that product. What would the process look like? We did a 24-month contract with a customer on a $1,000 contract. The customer makes their payments for 12 months and then they stop making their payments. And so, we've essentially bought that contract for that customer. They're 12 months in, the dealers paid for the whole thing, but we've been funded. Now we're going to get charged back a portion of that. What does that typically look like with the providers?
Okay, so the provider's going to provide you Woods with a prorate refund, and then you're going to send that to us. We're going to apply it to the balance. And we will, with the simple interest loan, we continue to collect from that consumer. And something because it's a simple interest loan, and because once the loan starts or once it goes active and they make that first payment, we report to the credit agency. So that's a real good reason to keep making your payments. Just like, you can't, I mean, it's a default on a loan, right? So consumers typically will continue to pay. Sometimes there's a refund and we offer that refund, we send the refund to the consumer. One thing we don't do, we will not, if there's we do not allow deduction of claims.
Yep.
That's kind of a hot topic. Most admins are very well aware and know this, but the dealer has to know that too. If you get shorted by the admin, that consumer is still responsible for
What
that.
what you're saying is that in that hypothetical scenario, 10 months in, the customer has a $2,000 claim and they've only purchased a $1,000. If you were to go to cancel that contract, what is your agreement with the provider on how that refund's going to work?
Well, the
Is a
provider
provider,
says there is no refund.
yeah,
Someone's got to pay it, and it's going to fall on the consumer or the dealer.
I guess
And
you're
if
almost,
so, the dealer then say owes us $1,000. The consumer goes to cancel. If you told me, Woods, that the provider deducted the claim, we will keep that in mind and we will not send a refund due to the consumer.
okay.
Any money that we collect will come back to you. We have an expectation of you, the dealer, paying the balance, and then any money or all money that we get back, we will send to you.
I guess you would almost always want to make sure that you never offered a finance term that was longer than the contract that you're offering.
Oh, we wouldn't allow it.
Okay. So you wouldn't allow 36 months on a 24-month contract.
No, sir.
Gotcha.
It would not, all that offering, it would only offer what's available for that service contract that you're asking for, that you're
Gotcha.
selling.
The anonymous who asked that question, hopefully I got you the answer that you're looking for. If you didn't, just follow up with that in the Q&A and we'll keep digging down that rabbit hole. Is there, I think a lot of dealers have transitioned to utilizing menus in the finance process. Have you found one that you think that really works well that kind of helps dealers to make sure that they present every product to every customer and that they're maximizing the opportunities in the finance office?
Menu Metric, we're fully integrated with them.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know all the menus that Powersports uses. It seems like Menu Metric is coming up a lot, but we are fully integrated with them. And we have Vision Menu. And again, as us pulling directly from F&I and Penn, that's helpful too. Then you can just use our system. And Darwin, we're almost, but I don't know if they're in Powersports.
A little bit, not a whole lot. And then Rider's Advantage typically prefers ITAP. So do you know if you integrate with that?
Funny you say that. As I said, I've been in the payment plan since 2012, and ITAP and I have Sean and I have a long-standing relationship. So I reached out to him, and we are in the process of that with ITAP.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think those integrations make life a lot easier for dealers. I would assume that there's some level of volume that you really need before it would be worthwhile for you to set up that integration.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the works with Impact. I'm down the path. We do business with PCMI. Um, and then, like I said, with ITAP, we're actively going to work with that. We're working with Protective on doing a direct integration with them. They just reached out. So we will integrate with anyone that is requested as long as the integration partner agrees.
The
And sometimes it takes enough dealers to ask for them to make a movement.
Do you know what, so you're doing a soft pull on consumers, so there is a chance that somebody might not be approved for this, I
That's
assume.
not true.
Yep.
Our interest rate ranges from 8.9 to 19.9. So if you have a, 500 credit score, you're going to be 19.9.
Huh.
If you don't have a social security number and you have an ITIN number, it's going to be 19.9.
Yep. But you're essentially approving 100% of the people.
Yes. If the admin approves it, we will approve it. Now, the only thing we won't approve is you selling a $3,000 bike and trying to sell a $2,000 service contract.
Gotcha.
We've been
What's
seeing
going to be.
that in the auto business lately.
So do you
So
have kind of the ESC or the products can't be more than say 20% of the vehicle value, or do you have some metric that you utilize there?
um, we have some, our our funding expert is a former F&I manager. So we have some things that will call out of our guidelines.
Hmm.
So we'll still let it be put in, but you might hear from her and say this has to be rewritten.
Gotcha. We are starting to see, today we've got BRP and Polaris vehicles in the 40, 50, $60,000 range. I mean, we've got some
Oh yeah,
five and $6,000 contracts that we're selling.
sure.
No issues or problems there.
No, no.
What is the longest term that you offer on it? I think it's 72 months.
The longest we'll go is 120 months.
Oh, wow. So you do some boat dealers too, then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we work across the board. A contract if a contract is over $7,500, it's gonna red flag and we're gonna look at it. But as you can imagine, a in the automotive space or the RV space, that's pretty common, on the luxury brands or shoot any RV.
Gotcha. And your 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 goal is to get the payment method through Plaid, but you will allow a customer to pay with credit cards, and it's a what, 395 a month or a
Right.
payment additional fee.
Or an ACH.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll take it any way they're going to give it to us. We just, in our experience, try and get away from credit card as much as we can. There's just so much fraud out there, and people like I've had, four different Chase credit cards in a year, because
They get
something suspicious.
compromised.
Yeah,
Well, but I mean, from the retail side, consumers are so stuck on this mile thing, then, it's insane to me that a customer is willing to spend $10 in credit card fees to earn $3 in miles, but, or
yeah, it
$4
happened,
in
and
cash
that's
back. But
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we had a guy that paid 3.5% recently on a Discover purchase where he was getting 2% cash back. And I'm like, you understand that the math doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
not in
people
their mind.
People will do it all the time.
Yeah.
The monthly billing statement that a customer receives in either their bank or their credit card is line five, or is it the dealer's name?
It's line five, but
Yep.
it talks about the dealer. I mean, it's
Gotcha. And what kind of marketing do you offer dealers? So if they sign up with this, are you doing any training with the team or any marketing opportunities for the dealership?
yeah, so I'm gonna go to my next screen. This is my team. We've already so I'm up there. Jim is our national sales manager, Mike is a national account manager, and then we have five regionals if you count Mike out across the country. And then I have five account managers. Um, that work from home primarily across the country. So, we work from 8 o'clock Eastern time until, um, oh gosh, what time?
We'll trust you. Do dealers typically
It,
have a dedicated account rep, or do they just work with whoever on the team picks up the phone?
well, it's kind of, we have a sales line that will, or sales at line 5, um, that will, or the dealer number that whoever's available at that moment can answer. But we also have, Catherine kind of covers the Florida, Christina's in Las Vegas, Nick is in Chicago, Alexa is in New York, and then we just hired Jacob, who's covering Texas. So, and the regionals are kind of lined up like that too. So it depends on where they are, who's going to be kind of quasi assigned to them. But Christina out in Vegas came from the motorsports world and worked at a motorcycle dealer. So she's kind of like she and I kind of like run with the power sports stuff, but anyone can help you. And I don't pay them on this is your region, this is how you get paid because Catherine's on at 8 o'clock Eastern time and Christina does is 7 o'clock Vegas times till seven
Gotcha.
o'clock. So, you know, half my team's off at 5 p.m. Eastern and then the others stay on. So they cover each other really well. I have a really well-oiled machine right now of team
What is
members.
the QR code that's on the screen? What is that for?
Jamie?
That's to become a partner. So if you're interested in learning more, or you'd like a demo, or to connect with our team to learn more about working with Line 5.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
Mark, we have we have they'll do demos like what I did. They'll probably do more extensive and talk more. I just want to do it for our time frame. But we sign up a dealer and we will do training with their warranty person if they have one, their F&I people, salespeople, their accountant, CPA we'll train any and all
Okay.
in one training or multiple because
How,
it's important to, understand
how
what you
long did
sell and believe in it.
how long does it typically take a dealer to get set up?
Um, a day to 5, depending on who they're using. Penn can sometimes hold a spat. Penn's pretty quick. F&I Express Cox can be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So our stuff is pretty immediate, but the other stuff, just getting the correct codes from them, which are required to pull the products. And then the dealer signs a franchise agreement and sends some documentation in. And as soon as they get all that in, we'll say dealer's good to go. And then it goes to an account manager and then they set up training.
I know there's a large variance between, small dealers and big dealers. Some selling 20 a month, some selling 200.
Yep.
What kind of volume and contracts are you seeing a month from dealers that you work with?
Honestly, we have over 4,000 dealers right now. And some, in the automotive space, most of them are going to go into the auto loan, right? And you might see it with you as well. But we see some that sell 50 a month, and we see some that sell, one a month or one every 2 months. You know, um, there's super users, and then there's consistent users, and then there's seldom users. So the
Is
average, yeah, it's hard.
is there any discounts or bonuses for hitting certain volume or
Um, Not to the dealer at all, because, well, kind of because we're a bank, is
yeah.
one thing. So, no.
All right. Well, you've got to earn your money to pay your people too, so I get it.
Well, and the dealer's going to make money that he otherwise wouldn't have made in most cases with this, right?
Last question I had for you that had popped up and just kind of reiterating something that you said, but you had made the statement that you are reporting to credit bureaus. So this could be something that could help a consumer to improve their credit score.
Absolutely. And, there are folks that are really excited about that. So we will definitely improve, and it also helps keeping them to pay off their loan because we report to the credit agency.
Gotcha. Yeah, so as
And,
long as
and
you
one
kind of,
thing for a dealer to remember is, um, if they do cancel, we're dependent on getting the money. Like you need to cancel with the admin, you need to get the money back, and you need to pay us back so that we can pay the consumer. So sometimes when folks drag their feet, the consumer is the one that
is
um,
left hanging.
left hanging, and it doesn't make them too happy.
Well, I guess then, how long do you wait when you notify a dealer that a customer is no longer current and you don't think that they're going to get back to being current on their loan?
Well, we have reporting like crazy for the dealer to look at. They can see pending cancels. We earn our fee on day 61. So it might benefit them to go in if they didn't make their first payment and they're looking at their second payment and we're trying to get it, understand. But if we have to we cancel after 90 days of
Okay.
trying.
All right.
But if have a trend, those dealers that just kind of push it on and they don't really know what they're signing because they're signing all these documents, it starts coming out quick, and we do keep an eye on that for you. Those,
Just in
there's,
case dealers are interested in, a referral or anything like that, any large dealers in the country or any popular dealers you might want to mention that you work with in case a dealer wants to call out?
you know what, I have to dig into that. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare
That's all
for
right.
that.
No, we didn't go through all these questions up front. So you have any other slides that you wanted to share?
Just this one, just a little bit about us. We have a 4.9 out of 5 on Google. We have an A+ rating on the BBB. And Powersports isn't really in this, but the auto industry does a Dealer's Choice Award, and they send it to every dealer that works within or advertises or in automotive business. And this is like 27 or probably 25 questions. We're always like the number 24. And it asks for, your favorite premium finance company. And the dealers have to hand write it. Like they have to say, I'll do the survey, or
Yeah.
I'll answer these questions. But the kind of cool part that I really like is they have to hand write the companies that they want to vote for. So it's not like A, B, and C, and let's always pick C. So we're very proud to have the Diamond Award, which is the top award for the past 5 years. Um, then gold is second place, and gold is third place, platinum is second place. So we have been on that gravy train for a long time, and we work really hard to do that, to give the best customer service to our agents and our dealers and our admins. And this is just about, we were founded in 2013 in Naples. Vehicle protection, kind of everything I said, automotive, RV, power sports. We probably need to add marine in here. We do the fast approvals, easy e-sign funding options for all credit types, with nearly every customer approved. Our in-house customer service and retention team are, growing and amazing. And the Google ratings, we have over 10,000 customers have given us that. And we do ask for that every time
I,
for a Google review.
I think it's interesting you're at a 4.9 because, over the years we've looked at companies offering similar products and even F&I providers. And, a lot of times I go and search those companies on Google and they got a 2.3 or 2.4 star. So, I
Yeah.
mean, 4.9 is definitely something to be proud of. We did get a comment from Tamara that said, thank you for the presentation. I've always had a great experience using Line 5. Keep up the great work. So kind of a good little compliment there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're here, my team's here. I'm on the travel circuit, typically at all the conferences. And my experience is more sales. Being the COO, I kind of wear a couple of hats, but it's always really important to me.
Anything else that Brenda or Jamie you'd like to say before I wrap it up for everybody?
No, I just appreciate the time to be able to do this, and appreciate the fellow members.
No worries. Well, we appreciate not only you taking the time to do this presentation, but also your support of the NPDA. So you've been a partner since early on, and we really do appreciate that. So we've got a lot of challenges that face this industry right now, and so we've got a lot of things we're working on. For everybody who attended today, if you are an NPDA member, we appreciate that. And if you're not, got up on the screen, you can kind of see it's a pretty low cost to join the organization and help us out. We do have right now kind of the big focus that we're working on is addressing these FTC actions that I have a lot of dealers really concerned right now. If you're not aware about what's going on there, definitely check out the NPDA website. So there's a lot of risk that exists in the industry right now. And we think we've come up with a solution for that. So we just need everybody's help to get the manufacturers on board. So that's what we're really working on right now. And before I wrap up, okay. I did get all the questions taken care of. So if anybody wants to share this presentation with anyone else, the YouTube video will be available on the NPDA's website in a couple of days. And if you have any further questions that you didn't get answered and you'd like to get a response to those, you can either email Brenda or Jamie, or I'm pretty easy to find on the internet too. So you can reach out to me and I'll get an answer to those questions for you. But again, we appreciate everybody attending today and hope you have hope everybody had a strong finish to the last month. And today's the first day of this month. I was looking at our calendar and it looks like for the 5-day-a-week dealers, you got 22 days in this month. So it's a pretty strong month. So hopefully everyone will have a great May, and we will have another presentation next week. I forget who the company is, but kind of doing these every month or actually every week for most of the next 3 months. So keep an eye out for your emails from the NPDA on what's coming next and tune in. Thanks for everyone, and y'all have a good afternoon and a good month. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.